Hey, it's Samantha with the Rediscover Real podcast. I am so thrilled to be here with you. Are you feeling overwhelmed, confused, or stuck on a hamster wheel from constantly seeking external tools, validation, and buffering in a search for more joy and fulfillment? Rediscover Real means to pull back the curtain and return to the foundation, peeling away the layers of mindsets, identities, and beliefs that no longer serve us. As we choose to grow, move forward, and show up fully as God intended, because at our very core, inside of you, lies everything already, as God created you absolutely perfect. We get to uncover and rediscover what's inside of us, and then to expand into what we're capable of. In this space, we'll dive into topics on personal finance and budgeting, mindset and growth, relationships, network marketing, and entrepreneurship. I'm sure there'll be some laughter and possibly a few tears along the way. I'm on this journey, and you're invited. I'm holding out my hand for you. Will you join me? Let's rediscover real together. Are you showing up as a thermometer or as a thermostat? I know, sounds weird, especially talking about money mindset, but this is really important. This is something that I see so many people do. And I've been in this position myself, of course, as always, simply on the journey with you. You're invited, and I'm holding out my hand for you. So, are you showing up as a thermometer or as a thermostat in your life and with your personal finances? If you're showing up as a thermometer, you're taking the temperature of what's around you. If you're showing up as a thermometer right now, when I'm recording this, you're taking the temperature of what's going on around us in the economy with inflation, in talking about how much groceries have gone up in price and about how you can't get ahead and how interest rates are so high, and your power bill is so much more expensive, and you're hearing all this like negative, low temperature, cold words, beliefs, thoughts, actions, and you're sitting in that, and it's cold. And what you're hearing or what you're doing, like what you're hearing around you, is to not do things, to not step out, to just wait. I hear so much waiting happening. And you're taking that, you're the thermostat, and you're like taking in information as fact from everything around you. Or are you showing up as a thermostat where you're setting the temperature? Now, if you're showing up as a thermostat, you get to choose. Doesn't mean those things aren't still happening around you, but you get to choose the temperature in your bubble. Instead of taking the temperature around you and going, okay, this is where I'm sitting down here at this level. Well, if you want to be up here, you get to turn up the heat. You get to turn up that thermostat. You get to show up at that level. Because here's the thing, right now in the economy, there are people winning. There are people winning big time. Just like back in the 1930s. I guess I should clarify that almost. We're like almost, yikes, that's a scary thought. During the Great Depression, there were people winning. And I'm not saying it's just like, again, this isn't just like think happy thoughts and you're going to win. This is how am I going to show up for my life? How am I going to change my trajectory? Because yeah, inflation is real. Yeah, power bills have gone up. It's not that you don't take away those facts. It's okay, how do I turn up the heat here? Because I'm cold. I'm not comfortable being here. What do I get to shift? What do I get to change? How do I show up with more ownership and accountability? And as that life is happening for me and not to me, how can I be a victor here instead of a victim? And that's really what it comes down to. It's a different way of saying it. You're being a thermometer. You're probably showing up right now largely as a victim. Well, inflation is happening to me. Well, my utility bills have gone up again. Well, the stock market. Well, I better wait. Well, there's so much uncertainty in the world. That's not moving forward. That's not how God created us to show up. Instead, when we show up as a thermostat and go, okay, I'm taking my thoughts captive, the obedience of Christ. How do I get to show up? How do I want to show up? What do I get to choose? You get to shift that and then take action on that. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you get to choose and work to get that like temperature up in the room where you want it. And not everyone's like this, but I could easily go live on a beach in a very tropical location and be very happy with that temperature. And the same applies for most of you in your finances. You all would love to have $1 million. We always say like, well, that would be nice. I hear people talk about, I've been hearing people talk about winning the lottery a lot lately. And like, well, must be nice. Well, I wish I was them. Yeah, that would be nice. Go create it. Go increase that thermostat. Look for opportunities because they are out there. They are everywhere. But you get to shift if you're like, well, there's no opportunities. There's no possibility to make money. Or you get to shift that and say, how can I make more? How can I earn more? How can I steward my finances well? How can I shift that? How can I show up as a victor in my finances? And it first comes back to your thoughts and your beliefs, the emotions, which starts at exactly what your state is, right? What's your focus? What are you focusing on? What you can have or what you can't have? Are you focusing on like the past, the present, the future? Are you focusing on the lack? Or are you focusing on what you do have, the abundance? You get to ask yourself those questions. What's your physical state, your physical body? I'm actually, if I look like I'm bouncing a little bit, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's because I'm on my ball chair. Probably should have switched out chairs. But what's your physical state? This keeps my body activated, so that's why I'm on here while I'm sitting at my desk. What's your physical state? And then what are the stories you're telling yourself, right? Are you telling yourself, well, it's not possible. There's no way you can get ahead right now. There's no options. Or are you telling yourself stories of possibility? There are people winning right now. It's a great story to start with telling yourself, well, what if I could win right now too? And asking yourself those questions. What would it look like to take 1% more ownership? What would it look like to take 100% more ownership? How could I find an opportunity? And as a side note here, if you're looking for an opportunity to increase your income, reach out to me. I have a proven, incredible way for you to increase your income. And I would love to talk to you about it and see if it could be a fit for you. Are you being a thermostat or are you being a thermometer? Hanging out down here. You get to choose. I personally like setting the temperature in the room. I don't want to hang out down here. I like to be warm and nice and toasty. Probably gonna go turn on my heated blanket after this, honestly, in my house. All right. You get to choose. You're gonna be a victim in the swamp with your paper straw, or you're gonna be a victor. You get to choose your temperature. Let's go. And if you're showing up as a thermostat right now and you're setting the temperature, how can you raise that temperature? Like if you're not quite where you want to be, you might like kind of be like, well, I'm doing okay. Like, we're fine. What if you could be great? Like what is fine? What if you could increase that? Up that temperature a little bit. Bump it up a couple degrees. You just finished another episode of the Rediscover Real podcast. My hope is always that you come away encouraged. And if you found this valuable, would you share it with a friend? And be sure to tag me on social media. I love seeing your takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And I would so appreciate it if you took a second to rate and review this podcast so that more people can find it. Also, take a peek in the show notes for a link to my website that has a special gift just for you for listening today. As always, I'm on the journey and you're invited. Let's rediscover real together.